Hello everyone, Phoenix61 here with your Legends shenanigans for the day. We picked up the Minegumo, if that's how you say it, right? I was kind of like debating whether to, we're on what, Two Brothers, right? Where you've got the butt crack down the middle here, where I like to call it the fun route, right? I was debating whether to send torpedoes down there or not, but yeah, it was, I don't know, quite literally my first game, and I was like, nah, let's not do it, I don't know why I didn't. I was like, no. So anyway, I want to get some work done, right? Like if nobody comes up the middle, then it's like super wasted, right? But anyway, literally my first game with the ship, and we've got a lot of destroyers in this game, right? We've got I think a Kaba or something right on my flank, right? Another destroyer on my flank. So I decided to cut in here, right? And I'm like, okay, if one of their destroyers comes up the middle,
Torpedoes dead ahead,
right, or comes up right in through D here, right, we'll be able to like kind of pinch, right? We'll have a crossfire on them, whatever you want to call it, right? And I'm glad I did, because we if I would have kept sailing straight, I might have hit those torpedoes. But anyway, Holland and a Kaba on their team, and then that's our Kaba there, right? Show up here, and I'm focusing on the zone cap here, but right, I really and I slowed down, and I shouldn't have. But anyway, right? So I really like this ship, right? It's, I mean, literally one game in, so far so good, right? There's a little bit of bias because I won, well, spoiler alert, won this game, right? But anyway, there is a downside to it, right? It's a Japanese destroyer. The torpedo range is a little shorter than what you would expect from, tier 8 Japanese torpedoes. They are at 9 kilometers, right? Which is honestly totally fine. Like, it's fine. Like, you can play with that, right? So the two torpedo reload boosters definitely make up for it, and I highly recommend using them, or at least one of them, early, because they do take a long time. It's a long cooldown, right? So just keep that in mind with these. And so you're either using widespread, which is very widespread for 4 torpedoes, right? Or single launcher, which is like kind of nice. It's nice to have that option like that, all fine and dandy, right? So I end up leaning on that a little bit in this game, and when I'm not used to having that with with Japanese torpedo boats, right? But I've built into torpedoes. I've kind of done my typical Japanese destroyer build that I like to have, right? Not like a non-gunboat build. I think you could build into the guns. It does, it does have the superior HE pen or like something like that, right? Like I'll show you at the end of the video here, right? But supposedly the HE shells are pretty good, right? And we use those a little bit. We're gonna end up firing our guns to kind of help finish some people off here. But we're gonna sneak up on this Yamato. I didn't get any hits on those 2 destroyers. I think we get one on the Kaba here, but we're gonna sneak up on this Yamato, and we'll use the single launch because, well, if we send the widespread, and then we're gonna dump the smoke screen, turn away, so that he doesn't have line of sight on us, right? We'll put the smoke screen between us and him. All fine and dandy, super easy kill, right? Super sneak up kill. And then I think we did get a hit on the Kaba on the other team, right? The enemy Soviet destroyer. So anyway, and then we're gonna have a Worcester over here on this flank, and then I think the destroyer and battleship went up the middle and are still capping, still fighting with capping Zone B, right? Capping Bravo. But yeah, torpedo reload, right? With the build that I've got in here, right? They still come back pretty quick, even without the reload booster. But we used the reload booster, and you can see, still has over 4 minutes of cooldown time left, right? So something to keep in mind, right? So I recommend using one somewhat early on, at least, right? Because you might die, right? Just get what you use it while you're alive, right? There's no sense in saving them. But I recommend using one somewhat early on, right? But yeah, here's this Kaba. We hit it with a torpedo earlier, and then of course, they don't have the greatest concealment, so we were spotting him, and then my allies were shooting him. But since we fired our guns, we got spotted by the Worcester, so I dropped the smoke screen so that we could go undetected here. Trying to keep my distance from him because we know Worcester has, I think, 9-kilometer range radar, right? So we're going to try and keep our distance from him, but also at the same time, right, this is a pretty competitive game so far. We've capped a zone. They went and stole our zone, so they're technically up on zones right now. So I do need to continue this push, so to speak, right? And so this Holland gets spotted by my teammates, but I can't fire at him. I don't want to fire my guns at him because the Worcester will then spot me, right? Worcester's trying to blind fire at me. He knows I'm over in this area, right? He's just trying to just get that. But yeah, like, see we used the wide spread, and you can see just how wide those legs are spread there. Those torpedoes. Yeah, it's tempting to shoot at him, but I don't want to risk getting spotted by a Worcester. He'll go to town on me, right? So we'll turn in now that he's gone. Worcester's still moving away, so I think it's safe for me to move back towards the Charlie cap and see if we can get this zone and see if we can kind of maintain our points lead here, right? We got to take some zones back now at this point. Shimikaze's still out there up in B, and then there's one more destroyer that was out over on this flank as well. 2 battleships. I think one of them's a Delaware, plus this Worcester is going to be our he's our biggest problem right now, right? So kind of keeping my eyeballs on him, but at the same time I want to try and get into the zone, take this zone, and then yeah, here's where the torpedo range is a little bit, you know, causes a little bit of a problem, but because, you know, we could potentially be able to, you know, shoot at these send torps up here towards these battleships. Worcester would probably still be out of range, right? But in all honesty, like, right, when you're sending torpedoes at max range, you know, these like 11 and 12 kilometer range torpedoes for some of these Japanese boats, right? That's all that much more time that those enemies have to, like, you know, change course, right? While those torpedoes are traveling. So in all honesty, I think this is probably a good ship for me because it pushes me to get a little bit closer in before I'm sending my torpedoes, right? So but we're gonna slow down here. I think the Worcester is picking on my teammates behind me, so they're not getting any cap done. So we'll sit in the zone here. A little bit of a concern that maybe the Shimikaze came back through the butt crack here, right? Came back down in between the islands, but so far so good. The zone's not contested. I'm not spotted, so I think we're free and clear. We'll start moving to help deal with Zone A, right? Whatever's still in there. I think we still have a Delaware in here, and it looks like he was either tucking in intentionally, right, or he maybe ran aground accidentally here, but we're gonna take advantage of this, right? So here's where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use the spread, the wide spread, and I'm like, all right, let's send some single ones up there, right? And you have to remember too, with the single launch torps, you need to send, you know, if you want to get the most out of your reload of the torpedoes anyway, you want to send them all, right? You want to send them fairly soon, one after the other. You obviously don't have to just dump them all right away instantly, but it doesn't start reloading that rack until you've sent the last one out of that rack. So it's something to keep in mind, right? So if you hold on to one, you're holding on to one for not a lot of reason, right? Like, yeah. So we'll use the last reload booster. We do get a hit on the Delaware. And yeah, it was so close with it, right? So we got him with the widespread one, I think, and then the single fires missed. I wasn't expecting him to turn back in. I was expecting him to go up with his buddies up towards B, but he turns in here, and then I'm like, oh wait, he's turning in, right? This the unstoppable, right, maxed out, or I don't know if I'm maxed out, right? But the range on it's like perfect for giving me a nice early warning that I need to drop smoke screen or divert. But anyway, we get him with the torpedo, finish him off. That's kill number 3. Again, I also love these short duration smokes because we get many of them, right, instead of just 2, because the vast majority of the time when I'm playing Japanese torpedo boats and I drop smoke screen, it's because I need that just a little bit of concealment, and so I can either finish off my kill or die, right? But or like, you know, just something to give me some time to get away and reposition, right? And those are perfect for that, right? So totally my style of boat. I'm glad I picked this one over the battleship. But yes, this campaign, right, is free, right? So if you haven't bought Admiralty backing, you need to pick it up right now and start plowing through the grind that is the campaign, because it's free this time, right? It'll, you know, normally cost 2,500 doubloons, which is about $10 US. right? So Worcester makes the right move by turning back in here. You could say it's kind of dumb of him to push into a destroyer, but he realizes that I don't know if this is what's going through his head, right? But he realizes that that he needs to be aggressive here at this point if they want to turn the tables on this game, right? If they want to have a chance to win this game. So he does trip the radar here, right? So my smoke screen is absolutely useless. But if I can keep moving and get my distance, get far enough away so that I'm at my standard concealment, right? We do get a torpedo hit there, and we're using the guns since we've got smoke in between us and him. So once this radar runs out, we won't be detected, right? Unless for some weird reason that Shimakaze is over here, right? But so there it goes. Radar runs out. Smoke screens between us and him, so we go undetected. He's still blind firing at us. I would too, right? Try and finish off that pesky destroyer. But I think we've got him on fire, right? Because he had to damage con the flood from us hitting him with the torpedoes, right? So we've got him on fire here. It's really tempting to shoot him, right? Like the Kaba, I think somebody else was shooting him, so I'm like, all right, let's see if we can get the last split. Right, I feel like I deserve this kill. Let's see if we can cheese the last bullet, but Kaba takes him, that's fine. I think that would have been our Kraken if we would have been able to get that kill. I can't remember if we get 3 or 4 out of this one, but anyway. So we'll go in, we're going to do the smart thing, cap this zone, get the points, sort of points guarantee for the win here. And then, yeah, Shimakaze finishes off our cruiser, right? So that's not completely won just yet, right? So we'll push up till we can get some work done on this Schlieffen. He is kind of low on health, right? So I'm pretty confident we'll win this one, right? But we'll push up on him and see if we can help finish him off. We've got 2 more of these shorty smoke screens. And then I think obviously the other destroyer right across from us here over by, up above B there is going to have him spotted too. So I'm like, all right, we could drop smoke and shoot our guns. I didn't build into the gun, so I don't have the range on the gun. So we're going to use this single launch torp here, and in case he turns in, right, which he's starting to do here. Now I'm like, all right, now he's turning too much. So we'll single launch. We'll space him out a little bit here, right, just to try and get a hit. And we'll send him on the other side of this island here, too, in case he keeps pushing this way. He really doesn't have a choice, right? He's getting pushed, this direction from our other destroyer. And also, you really kind of, like, it's YOLO time, right? Like, if you want any chance to win this game, you got to go for the zones and pick him up, right? But he's so low on health. There's not really too much he can do at this point. We will send some bullets his way since he's so low here. He doesn't have line of sight on us, right? The other destroyer's picking him up. Kaba's picking on him. Our other Shimakaze's picking on him, right? So now it's just the Shimakaze. So I'm going to fast forward through this because this last guy, yeah, so we did only get 3 kills there. But we're going to take this for a pretty good XP score for all these zone caps. So we'll fast forward here. This Shimakaze decides not to get detected at all for the last 30 seconds of this game. You can see he dropped his smoke over there, but it's kind of useless because, well, there's no one to spot for you while you sit in your smoke. So yeah, we'll take a look at the leaderboard. I'll go through the build that I chose thus far, at least for this first game. But yeah, the 105,000 damage, not half bad. And then Minegumo, right, 3,400 XP gets us at the top. Not quite that heroic effort, 3,500 that you need. So close, right? So close. And then, of course, walked away with a good chunk of cash for the game here, right? So, yeah, that's going to put us over. So we're earned in steel for the campaign. Right, so I'm just using aiming system, propulsion mod, concealment in slot 3, and then I did pick the torpedo reload booster here, not booster, reload time there. Right, I'm going to throw the epic mod on here. We got a lot of decent chunk of steel just to get the faster reload on it. As we get damage. But yeah, you do have the superior HE damage here, right, this perk, right? So I haven't tried building into the guns, obviously, right, just my first game, but it's you could put a little bit of power into them if you wanted to, but my preference is to be sneaky and use torpedoes. A little bit of torpedoes and a little bit of concealment there for the inspirations. Those are free to play, guys. Sella is not, right? You could use I think Tanaka and get a similar sort of build. I think this perk here, right, that gives you a little bit better torpedo concealment is probably the only thing that's different from him versus her. But yeah, I go for the speed there, and then unstoppable is kind of my go-to for most destroyers. But yeah, like I was also kind of thinking, like, you know, you could do. I was thinking maybe you could do a cruiser commander, right? So maybe Ijun here, right? Which, you know, we've got a Geist over it. But I was like, you know, maybe we could do, yeah, Torp range there. You know, maybe I could do this, and then fully packed to get an extra Torp reload booster. But those reload boosters were like 4-minute cooldown, even with fully packed on there and having a little bit better cooldown time on your consumables. You'd still probably struggle to get through some of those. But anyway, yeah, so the campaign's complete, right? And so with this time around, you had your choice between the Minegumo and the, what was it, the Noird. And so what they do here is, I'm like, what? Why do I have a special offer? Like, what is this? Well, this is what they do. They offer you the Noird for, right, the other ship, whichever one, you know, the other one that you didn't pick for the campaign since you had your choice. They offer it to you for 25,000 doubloons. Just insane to me. Don't do that. Right? I can't. Those of you that got the cash to just like buy every single ship, I mean, good for you. But like, that's just too much for me for one digital ship in the game. But that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Please do subscribe to the channel. My icon will, right, my logo will show up in the bottom right of this video. You can check me out there by clicking on that. Check out my channel. We've got videos, posting videos just about every day for World of Warships Legends, so there's plenty to entertain you for quite a while there. But thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.